Let's create a new project. You can create a new project here, create a Java project, or just here, this is the usual way. We will use the usual way, Java project, click on it. And then we can call this name Java course 1, because this is the first chapter, okay? Then we have to choose which kind of GRE, OpenJDK, it's the same, so we use a JDK because we program. So in this case, this is the right version, this is what we downloaded, OpenJDK 15, and then we can click on finish. Don't create a module, this is a module name, don't create, we don't need it. And that's it. You can see here on your left side the Java course 1, which is what we created. If you click on it, you can also see this folder, yeah, SRC. It means source. Maybe you use Linux, or sometimes you have already heard about source, open source. What does it mean? Well, source is actually the code that you write. Okay, so we will write source code. Yeah. So now we will create a class. I will not explain what is a class at this moment. Just click on here and click on class, and we will call this class variables, plural. We click on public static void, and finish. And now you can see we have the variables file, a variable file. This file is Java file in our project, okay, in our source folder. Okay, this is a class. Like I said, I will not explain now what is a class, but it's enough just to say that we use classes because we write in this classes code. This is a class. Okay, so let's do some examples. I will copy and paste this code, this test here. So okay, as you can see, sometimes you can just code, okay, writing code, but let's say you want to write messages for other developers. How can you do that? In this case, you have to comment the code, okay, which means, for example, you can use this slash here. So for example, let's do that. You can select the whole test, okay, and you can just click on, in this you can use Ctrl+7, or it depends which kind of key map you use for your keyboard. In my case, it's in this case Ctrl+7, and that's it. The test. This text is now comment. What does it mean actually? It means that the compiler, when we'll see lines with 2 slashes, it will not translate this lines in bytecode in this case. Okay, so we have this kind of comment, and we also have another kind of comment. This is slash, okay, asterisk, and then you just click on enter, and you have a long way. So you can, for example, write this is a comment, and then you can write there are 2 kind of comments in Java, and so on. Okay, this is very important. Why do we need it? We need it first of all for us. Let's say we want to just write something that we want to improve afterwards. So sometimes you just code, and then you say, okay, this is, I have to improve that, but not now. Maybe, I don't know, tomorrow, or in 1 day, or in 1 month. Okay, so you can use comments so that you don't forget. The second and the most used way, it's because you just want to explain the code. You can imagine that in a big company, you are not the only coder, the only developer in the company. So you want to explain what you wrote, how your code works, because other people will work also on your code. Yeah. So this is the comment part. Now let's use variables. So what are variables? First of all, what are data type? As you can see here, we have in Java 8 type of data type: byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, char. Okay, and here you have how big they are. It means how big they are on your hard disk. A byte has 1 byte, is 1 byte big. A short, it's 2 bytes big. An int, 4, a long, 8 bytes, and so on. Okay. Well, what does it mean? It means that, for example, let's say I write int, okay, number equal to 5. Okay. What does it mean? It means that in this case, I say to the compiler, I want a data type int. The name of this variable that I want to save is number, and I want this variable has the value 5. Okay, and you can see here, so int is a data type in which you can save 4 bytes information. Okay, and you can store number in this range. Okay, for example, long, you can use bigger number. So, but if you don't use it, if you don't need these big numbers, then you don't. Oh, sorry. Then you don't have to. Then you don't have to use that. Sorry, I just. Yeah, you don't have to use it. Okay. And this is very important. The most used data type in Java are, of course, int, because they're integers, and we use a lot of integers. Then we have double, which are decimal numbers, boolean, true or false, char, character, and sometimes byte. The rest you can use it, but it's not something that you really use it in usually. Okay, how does it work? This is how I already said. You write the name of the data type int. You write the name of this variable that you want to store on your hard disk, and then you write the value of it, always with a semicolon after that. So, for example, if I want to save a double number, it is the same, double. Okay, I can call this variable double number equal to 5.5 semicolon, and that's it. Okay, you can save what you wrote here, just click on it, or just with Control S. You can also read this here, Control S. I will say that now, Control S. Okay, so but we want to also use other data types. Okay, so in this case, let's say we want to use the Boolean types, data types. They are very useful and very used. So, and this is pretty the same. So we declare the variable with Boolean, and then the name of this variable, let's say, is raining. Okay, equal to a value. The value must be true or false. In this case, we say true. We can save, and I save it, and that's okay. I can also use the value false. Let's say Boolean, the same, is raining. This is also the same, equal false. Semicolon. Save. And as you can see here, we have an error. This is here, and this is also here. And it says duplicate local variable is raining. What does it mean? Well, it means that you cannot use the same variable names. Okay, if we change the name of this variable, let's say check, then we don't have the error anymore. So this is very important. So don't use the same variables names, because it doesn't work. And this is actually very important also for other people that want to that will work on your code. Also, if you work in a company, it is very important that you make your code understandable, and it could be very useful to use good names for your variables. Okay, so that the developer can already understand what is actually these variables and for what it is here. In this case, it's clear. Well, it's raining, check. It means that we want to check if it is raining or not. Okay. So let's say we want to use also the type char, which is also very used. Char, character. character, I call this one character, okay, equal to quotation mark, single quotation mark, and one character. And you can only save one character here, okay? And this is also okay. And it's also, so we don't have errors. But let's say we want to save, for example, in Boolean another value. Let's say you want to save in Boolean, we call this variable, I don't know, just check, okay? And then equal to, and let's say we want to save a value 5. Well, you can see we have an error also here. Type mismatch, cannot convert from int to Boolean. Why? Because the compiler understands this 5 as an int, which is also true. 5 is a number, it's an int. So it should be a data type int, okay? But the variable name, the variable type, the data type in this case of check is Boolean. So you cannot use the value 5 because it's a number for variables who are that are Booleans. This is pretty the same if you write, for example, int and you say number 1. Okay, it's only a test, it's not that important now, the names, equal to true. Okay, and you have also here the same type mismatch, cannot convert from Boolean to int. Why? Because the compiler knows that true is actually a value for Boolean variables, but this variable is actually an int variable. So you have to change it in other values. So, for example, you write here 5 and you write here false. You save, and that's it. You don't have an error anymore. Okay.